welcome to the Technical Staff and Theatre Workers podcast. It's the podcast in which I talk to people who work backstage in the technical theatre industry about how they got in, their experiences, and any advice they can give to anyone getting in. This is episode 10 of season 3, the final episode of this season. Fantastic season it's been. I really enjoyed it. Really love talking to everybody on this podcast. Really glad that everybody who listens to the podcast seems to really enjoy it. So thank you so much for the downloads. Thank you for the continued followings. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody you know who's interested in theatre, and anyone who's not interested in theatre, because it might make them interested in theatre. So thank you so much. And without further ado, let's get on to our final guest of season 3. Okay, so first thing we need to do is, because there's several of us, is go around and introduce ourselves and what department we're all in, please.
Hello, Bram. I'm Michael. I am Deputy Head of Automation.
Thank you.
Hi Bram, I'm Nikki and I am the Deputy Stage Manager.
Excellent.
Hello, I am Danny and I am Wardrobe Assistant.
Lovely.
Hi Bram, I'm Jez and I'm Deputy Head of Electrics.
Excellent. And I'm obviously sound. Brilliant. So normally what we do with these is kind of we just go through some questions, but there's one question that we're going to do today, and that, bearing in mind that this is a podcast for people who aren't sure about how to get in the industry or are students or whatever, what fundamentally, as per each of your departments, is the difference between opening a new show and doing a cast change? Oh, that was a good.
That was a good face.
Good laugh. Good laughing face there.
It's because I could probably talk for hours about
That's
it.
the plan.
There
Let's
we go.
go. Okay, over to Nikki.
Right.
Well, when it comes to stage management, because prior to joining the Book of Mormon, I'd always opened new shows. This is the first time I've ever taken over. So for me, this is really different. So for us, opening a new show, we are creating all of the paperwork from scratch. I am creating the prompt copy with, depending on what type of show you're doing, you would have the blocking in it, you would have directing notes, you are the one who starts to put the LX cues and the sound cues and all of that into the book. The ASMs are creating all of the wing plots and all of the props.
They're doing that cool little LX tape thing, grid on the...
That definitely always gets used.
On the props table, the most important part of the job.
Definitely gets kept.
Trained for 3 years at college for that. Yeah, so it's a huge amount of work for stage management, well, for everybody, when setting up a new show, because there is nothing. Everything is brand new. Now, just as we are currently going through cast change for Book of Mormon, so we've got the new cast incoming. We're just coming to the end of the first week of rehearsals, and I haven't done anything in rehearsals yet.
Brilliant.
On the first morning we take, because we have a rehearsal collection of rehearsal props and bits of like the Ugandan pageant that we have and things that we take in, so we set that up on the first morning. Then that's kind of it. I mean, I do timesheets every day for the old cast and the new cast, and we sit and watch them.
But there is that similarity, though, isn't there? Because you still have to mark out the stage area, don't you? So there is a sort of similarity.
Yeah, yes, I suppose you are correct.
It is a new show for the new cast.
Yeah, which I think sometimes is hard to remember for a lot of people as well, because you're so used to doing it when you're second year in, third year in, that you forget that actually it's really exciting and really fun for the new ones. And you're like, oh yeah, you're actually having a lovely time. But yes, we do the markup as we would, but again, you know, we have cheat ways of doing it because it's been done so many times, so it's a much quicker thing to mark out than it would be with a brand new show.
Anyone else?
For us in wardrobe, it is very different. You start from scratch when you open the show, but then cast change is just as busy. Like, we are currently inundated with notes because it's a big cast change this year, if no one else has noticed. And we make the shirts, which is a completely fun thing to do, but when there's a whole new bunch of Mormons, that is a lot of work when they all have 4 shirts each.
4 shirts each?
2 per show.
Oh, God.
So then...
And you don't just buy them from the Mormon shop.
That's
like
exactly what
company
I was
manager Dan Madsen did.
We buy them and then we have to alter them because you have to have the Mormon turn up as it is. And then, so then we've got shirts to make, then alterations on the rest of the costumes, and everyone has their own set of costumes. If they're a swing, they have everything for every character. And it's
So how much of
whole
costumes
ball
are
game.
rehashed from
Well,
previous casts?
you
Because it's
can-
been going 11 years, so...
Well, that's the fun thing. As soon as someone fits into something, which is what is happening from... This is my first cast change with Mormon, so I'm learning how we do it here, because everywhere does it completely different. Everything, I think, is being reused. I could be off that, but most things are just being altered,
Excellent.
which is wonderful, because then you can reuse it.
You just whip down to the lock-up and pick up
Yeah,
stuff that's been
there are
used
things that will
previously.
always be made,
Yeah.
like trousers, like things like that will always be made. Jackets, if you can, but yeah,
Wouldn't it be easier just to cast people of a certain size?
Yeah. That's what I
You'd
was going
think.
to say.
Selective casting.
but it's then always fun because with the shirts, which I'm finding joyful / stressful, we fit shirts on the new people from older cast, but those shirts have already been altered.
Right.
So you have to then find the measurements from these cast years gone by to figure out what you did with that shirt originally to then adjust to these new shirts.
Is there like a massive book then of previous casts?
Yeah.
Oh.
We've got a folder for every year.
Like a Bible, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's a Mormon turn-up? Did you say Mormon turn-up?
Yeah, so you know the shirts have like the
Clean
little...
and pressed. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We've got they sent... I don't even know what it is. It's just a turn-up on the...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Right,
So
That makes
we-
it shorter, like here or...
Yeah, it gives it that little tuck. But we, have to buy shirts, cut the sleeves off, and do that.
Right.
I also think that you guys have one of the hardest bits of cast change in that the old cast finish on the Saturday night
Oh, yeah.
and the new cast
Oh, yeah.
start in the theatre on the Monday morning. So you've got to get
Yeah.
all the old stuff out, get all the new stuff in one day.
That Sunday
Yeah.
changeover.
So Sunday, so
Yeah.
we'll be in on that Sunday. So we'll work straight through from that Monday until whatever.
Affectionately called Cast Change Sunday.
Cash change Sunday, I love that.
And also, after the last cast party on the Saturday night.
Yeah.
Me.
I always feel bad for you guys then.
Nah,
It's such a
you s-
rough day.
You still, well, I'm still going to the party, so you can't not.
We'll double back on this when you've done that. And you go,
Yeah,
what a
speak-
really bad
Speak to me
idea.
again on that
How was your
Monday.
first cast change Sunday, Danny?
I know. Well, that's the thing. Like when I worked on the same show for 6 years before coming here, so I was used to that cash change and how we did it there. So it's going to be very different and very interesting coming here.
I know this isn't a question, but can I ask a question?
Absolutely, yeah.
Go on.
Where were you before here?
Hamilton,
Ah, okay.
But it's better here, right?
it's very different.
A very diplomatic answer.
Yeah.
Very
Better.
different. Different show. This is a lot happier.
Oh, that's
This
nice.
is a lot happier.
Oh, I was
Like-
on Les Mis before this, so...
Oh yeah.
Christ, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Dark shows.
Yeah, dark shows.
Dark shows.
I only do happy shows these days.
It's good for the soul. It's good for the soul.
Yeah.
It's not... Well, it's kind of different for us. There's kind of like you say, you make the book, you write all the cues and everything in. When I opened Frozen, there was obviously no stage Alex plots really, so we had to kind of just do it on the fly, write all down as you go along. And it does, as the show goes on a bit. After I'd left, I found out they found various ways of there was a fan that had to move into place. They just rigged it on a ladder that flew in from auto. So the cue sheet gradually got lower and lower and lower of things that you had to do. But for us, normally, when you open a show, you've got a programmer come in. A lot of shows will do the same on their tech weeks, so you'd have someone come in, as well as the LD or associate LD. On Mamma Mia, the in-house electricians were on the desk, so they didn't have a programmer. So that was quite fun to do. But a lot of it for us is literally just getting the desk down and setting the production desk up in the morning, and then there's not much else that we can do. We can't do maintenance days because people are on stage all day. So we've got to make sure that before that, everything is up to date. We're usually pretty good at keeping up to date with everything anyway, but it's just making sure that it's all done.
What I find quite interesting about Alex during a cast change, especially, and also during a start of a new show, is that you stop the tech run more for LX than you do for anyone else.
Yeah.
Anyone.
There's a lot to do. If someone knows where their light is at the very start, and you say, stop here, and they have a chance that, I mean, I don't know if actors do it or not, but actually just stop, take it all in, know exactly what's going on around you. It makes things so much easier than having to, once it started and during the run going, make sure that you're on this point. If they ask you to stop in a point, it's that sort of thing of, right, I'm here for a reason, and they're doing things around me. It is long, but when you think of how many fixtures there are in each rig, I mean, there's 80, 90 odd here, all pointing in certain places, different specials, some of which can't move to accommodate you, so you have to be in them.
And also, so much of the work, lighting-wise, has to be done with the people and the costumes and the colour, because everything looks different, different skin tone, different...
Massively.
Because I try really hard when doing a tech to never say, we're waiting for Alex or we're waiting for sound. I'll always say they're working.
Yeah.
Because, I think it's mean to say we're waiting for somebody, because what you're doing is you're doing your job.
Yeah.
And it is, there's a small amount of work you can do, I think, for lighting before you get the people on the stage.
Yeah, once the show's in, it's been done in that colour, in that place for a certain reason. But during the opening of a show, like for instance the white shirts here, they will do the follow spots at a certain level, because if you light up a white shirt at 100% on a follow spot, it kicks out, and you'll know about it. As the follow spot lamps die, we say to people, if you're meant to be at 50, be at 60 instead to brighten it up, because they're done for a reason at that level. And even down to, like, say, skin tone, everything, it's all done for that reason, for balancing about how the light looks and what colour it is. So yeah, that's why it takes so long in opening a show.
Follow spotting, because I'm the world's greatest follow spot. So if you're doing a cast change,
Yep.
follow spot, and you've got your cue sheet,
Yep.
telling you where to pick people up.
Yep.
If you're told, like, pick someone up downstage left, for
Yep.
instance, and they're mid stage.
Yep.
Do you adjust your cue sheet?
No.
Or do you tell them that they need to change their blocking?
Unless it has been directed and there is a direction change which stage management would tell us, or relayed, or not tell us.
Might do.
It tend to be relayed via LD, spot caller, whoever, to tell you that it's happened. Otherwise, you'd maybe say, this was like this previously. Are we changing this, or are they just not in the right place? But not maliciously. Things change. Especially over 11 years, I imagine maybe a couple of things have changed about Mormon and places and whatnot, but if it's on the cue sheet in that way, it was probably done that way to start with.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Aces.
And then it's just you, Michael.
It's just me now. I know. I mean, we don't really do an awful lot. I mean, I feel a bit bad
for
now
a new
after
show
listening to you
or
guys.
an old show.
Yeah,
That's all right.
How dare you?
There's
I mean,
a lot in the new show.
A new show, like every department, it's a real it's a learning curve, and there's a lot to do. There's a lot to learn. You've got the deck plots that you have to create. Obviously, the show has to be programmed. But with a cast change, I'm trying to think. I mean, the different shows. You have if there's performer flying in the show, obviously that's a lot more involved. You need to change spikes, which are the bits of wire that come from the harness up to the wiry bits.
Did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
No idea.
But actually,
would
that
love to
tends to be a
fly.
stage management kind of thing. But and also we have different ones for different cast members. I'm digging myself into a hole. I don't really know what I'm talking about.
No, it's
I do really. But
I don't remember what you're
I
talking
just don't remember. It's been quite a few. But
And
this,
also, you're very old.
oh, stop it. But this show, it's actually quite straightforward. There isn't really anything we changed. The only thing I can think that we've changed in the last couple of years, or things that we have changed in the last couple of years, is when the lighting designer comes in and notices something that's been like it for a year and says, "Oh, can we have that in a slightly different position?" Which tends to happen a little bit.
It depends how often your light designer comes in as well, though.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah.
Some shows, I know at Les Mis, they've constantly got someone
Yeah.
in who, tweaks the show and is there around it constantly.
I didn't when I worked there.
When were you there?
When I was out there, I left, 5 years ago.
There you go, yeah.
I did the proper show.
Oh. But yeah, there's not
Fine,
auto-wise,
fine.
there's not an awful lot that changes that we do. What was the question?
Basically, on
Hello?
a cast change, Michael, you sit up at the desk and you keep me company
I keep you company.
through
yeah.
long days of tech,
Yeah.
don't you?
I
Make tea.
Oh, lovely.
I make tea and eat loads of junk food.
Excellent.
Oh,
You two are like an old
snacks.
married couple up on the
Yeah.
perch, honestly.
Maybe.
Do you know what? I can't wait for spooky rehearsal though.
On the morning before a 2-show day, it's always
The famed
best.
spooky rehearsal.
I've heard a lot about this.
Should we do it as close to the show as possible?
What happens? I can't remember. What's special about the spooky rehearsal?
It's a spooky
We do it
rehearsal.
on Friday morning before 2 shows. But it's also utter chaos, which is always highly amusing.
Is everyone in it for the first time and all the...
Quick changes and
Yeah, because
I can't wait.
backstage is so fun during that number. So yeah, doing that for the first time is hilarious.
Every
so that in itself is very similar to opening a new show, isn't it? Because again, the cast are doing it for the first time, even if the dressers aren't.
Yeah.
So you've still got people panicking, and the first thing you say is don't panic, because that makes it longer. And then they panic, and then your 90-second change is done in 7 minutes.
I guess the easier thing about cast changes in terms of tech, everyone knows what they're doing. Technically, everyone backstage knows what they're doing. And it's normally the cast that are new. When you're opening, everyone's new, and it's like, right, okay, what are we doing?
Which is, in some ways, I find that easier because
no one knowing.
that nobody knows what they're doing, and it's really quite exciting.
Yeah.
I remember when our first preview of Moulin Rouge, we were so behind with dry tech and then tech. We hadn't run the show before we had our first preview, and it was a big show.
Good God.
So that was quite exciting, but it was all right. It was
A
fine.
bit like that on Love Never Dies, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We had run the show and 3/4 of the first preview.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit like that on a lot of
On a lot of
shows.
shows.
if we're
Yeah, it
honest.
is. It is.
And
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
true.
I mean, I have to say, there isn't a feeling quite like it, because that is flying by the seat of your pants. And that's kind of why I still enjoy calling shows. That having, for me, starting your first show, saying go, I nearly said G-O, because that's so ingrained in me not to say go. You get the sweaty palms, you have to wait a bit, and then you do your first.
It's exciting,
cues
isn't
and
it?
say-
It's really exciting.
So cool.
And you also have a lot of new shows as well. I've found you do like a full week's tech on Act 1 and then 2 days on Act 2.
Yes.
You run out of time.
Absolutely.
So you just rush through Act 2. You never do the bows.
And you can never remember the beginning of Act 1.
Yeah.
Oh, no, the
When you come to do
bows
it.
are done the morning before the first show, yeah.
And they always schedule 2 dress rehearsals. When did anybody last do 2 dress rehearsals before opening a new show?
And actually, with the cast change, us old jaded lot, but when the new cast come in and their first night and they're all really excited, and also the tech leading up to that, I'm kind of reminded that actually this is quite a good fun show, and it's and not a fun show necessarily the show, but what we do is good fun, and it's
No, I'm laughing because I'm agreeing with
reminds you
you
why you do
completely.
what
And
you do.
just in the
exactly.
background,
Yeah.
you see Bram just shaking his head.
He's like, it's a load of
No,
old
but I
bollocks,
do
that.
agree.
Yeah, but he's jaded.
Because we see the cast in the rehearsal room the first couple of days when
Sure.
they're being bombarded with the choreography and how much they're taking in, but they're all still... They're so excited
Especially
about
the people whose first shows it is as well.
Yeah, we've got a few. I think we've got a few West End debuts this year and stuff. So
For me, a lot of the times, cast changes like Disney. In fact, on the outside you've got a smile, but the inside you're dead.
yeah. Well,
I think that's kind of what it is.
luckily,
yes.
not everyone's like that.
From a sound point of view, just to go back to the original question, a new show is obviously what it is. The only real difference is that you're programming the show, whoever's number one or the associate sound designer is programming the show at the desk. Backstage-wise, a new show and a cast change are pretty much the same, because we have to make mics for everybody.
Yeah.
We have to label everything for everybody.
Yeah.
We have to make sure they all fit and they all look nice. It's exactly the same. There's not a real difference. So it's just...
So there's a lot of work for sound as well.
Yeah, more than people give us credit for.
Yeah.
Because we just look so cool doing it.
Yeah.
Can you reuse any mics?
We can do, but we tend not to. In a brand new cast, we tend to have a full set of new cast mics.
Why?
well, they also have a bit of a shelf life, don't
They
they?
sound nicer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
They're
How long
great,
does a
they
mic
sweat,
last
they-
then?
Well, it
Generally.
depends who you put it on.
Yeah. So yeah. But
If
what?
you put it on somebody who's quite sweaty,
That's
it
what I was
might
gonna
be anything
ask.
Up to about 8 or 9 minutes. If you put it on somebody who's not sweaty and looks after it and is good, it can last months.
Right. Okay. So that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Perspiration.
Not just perspiration, people got to look after it. I've seen a lot of casts spraying hairspray into their mics and things like that. That's not good for it.
No.
It's just not looking after things, is it?
Why are you laughing, Nicky Barry?
No.
Well, I was agreeing with him.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's because everybody else has fallen asleep. You're just answering me to be polite.
No, I'm not.
Having a good time.
We're having a great
That
time.
wasn't sarcastic either. It sounded we're having a great time. Yeah.
Great time, guys.
Right, are we ready for the sing-along? Have you told them about that?
No, I'm not mentioning this.
Oh, my life. I did not sign up for that.
What were you going to do?
I don't know. What do you want to
I was only joking.
We're not doing a sing-along.
No, I'm only joking. We're not doing a sing-along.
Not today, anyway.
No,
Do
I'm
some
going to sleep
dancing.
my burger off.
During Tech Week,
Yeah.
we'll do a sing along.
We'll have a sing-along during Tech Week while we're waiting for lighting.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, lighting and
While
working.
They're working. Thank you.
Although lighting don't work. He's just said that. He said that all we do is put the desk out and then it's the program
Hey.
that works.
Someone from lighting works. We just get them tea.
Well,
And we get the production desk out in the morning. We do our work before you guys get here.
Well, that's not
That is true. You are in a lot earlier.
That's not true.
It sucks sometimes,
On,
but
on tech weeks, I always see you getting the desks out, and actually, 9 times out of 10, it's not you. It's stage department, and then you bring your wires down.
it's not true. Well,
It's totally
Anyway.
true.
it's not true.
It's a joint enterprise.
That's yeah.
Stage put the bits that are made of wood
Yeah.
out, and then they put the technical things
The pluggy
out.
bits that go into
We do
lights.
not have a very nice production
And then
desk.
you put some technical bits
Very
out
fancy one.
also.
And invariably, they don't work properly.
Correct. I have requested to stay on the perch for
Yes,
the whole
I've-
2 weeks at the theatre.
And
Have
I've been
you?
told you're not allowed.
I think Michael's making new ones. He made us a nice one.
We'll discuss this off mic later,
Oh,
everybody.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Yes. So, incidentally, what I find quite interesting is that stage obviously start it. Stage management, they start cash change because they're in the earliest.
Right.
LX can't really do anything until wardrobe are ready.
Yeah.
Is that right? Because
We don't want to say we're waiting for you guys,
they
but
can do certain things, but they need the costumes to be ready before they can.
Yeah, people need especially for tech, they need the costumes to be on stage.
Yeah.
we need the people in them to be
Yeah.
ready, which doubles
means
back to
then
stage
we need-
management. Yeah.
We can't
Yeah.
really do ours until the cast are ready, because if the cast are marking it, which they have a tendency to do a lot, that kind of negates the point of us even being there.
It's just sound check up before that.
Essentially, yeah. And automation. Anyway,
Nothing.
Automation what?
Automation.
Well, everybody has to be in place before we can actually
Cup of
make the
tea.
magic happen.
Exactly. So there's kind of almost like a linear
Yeah.
thing of.
Or not in the
Yeah.
case of the blue travs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that.
No.
Right. If anyone else got anything to say?
No.
Brilliant. Well, thank you all for joining me. It's been very good.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Bram.
A big thank you to Michael and Nikki and Danny and Jez there. Really good. Really enjoyed that one. Thank you very much. Hopefully that's explained a little bit to people who don't really know how it works in the industry backstage. Thank you for the downloads for this season and in the previous seasons. Thank you very much. We're looking forward to getting some more guests on for the next season. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell anybody you know who's interested in theatre and people who aren't interested in theatre, because it might make them interested in theatre. A big thank you for this season to Matt, Nick, Scott, Dando, Nia, Marcus, Josie, Julia and Danny, and of course the 4 guests at the end. Really great, really loved having them on and really loved doing this season. I really enjoyed doing this for you guys, so I hope you enjoy it too. And until then, I shall see you for season 4. Thank you.